I mean, with AI, the quantity and quality of scams will skyrocket.
How did you initially get hooked into this potential scam?
Then I cooled down. I had some relief. I wasn't scared about my life anymore. And I started to think, deep breath. I started to think how to try to make this not happen for anyone anymore. There should be no room for anybody to lose it even one cent, not even 1 cent.
Francesco, welcome to the show.
Hello, Kali. Thanks. And hello to everyone in the audience.
Thanks for being here, man. I'm super excited because I want to be a better Bitcoin builder myself. I want to contribute my time and energy to the Bitcoin space, and there's no better way to improve that than to learn from someone who's doing it yourself. So maybe just give us a little background. How did you start building in Bitcoin? I've heard a little bit about your background from some other podcasts, but I'd love to just hear real briefly, like, how did you find this specific solution? Is it BitVault now? BitVault or Vaulty?
BitVault. It's
BitVault.
bit
Yeah.
called BitVault. Yeah, yeah.
So you're the founder
And
of BitVault. Give us
yeah.
the, quick orange pill story, but really I want to understand, like, why did you decide to go ahead and build this business?
Okay, I don't want to scare the audience too much, but it came out of a personal experience. I've been to Bitcoin for 7 years to date, and you know the space was really the far west before 7, 6 years. No, there was no ETF, not because I like the ETF, but I mean nothing was regular. Everything was possible, a lot of scams, and so it happened that I wanted to try to open a mining company. So I was looking for capital. Then I came across somebody, a group of people telling me, yes, we're gonna give you some investment, some funding, but you have to put some collateral on a wallet. I say, that's already strange, but let's see. Then came up that came out that they wanted me to download a specific wallet to put some money there and then give me some loan. But then I didn't hook up because my instinct, and I was so lucky. But then I understood it was a scam, but I thought I didn't understand why, because they wanted me out to do an iPhone wallet. And nobody of us thinks that iPhone wallet can have a bug. So in my mind, for many months, that was 2023, I was convinced that these people wanted to just kill me, just have the Bitcoin deposit there and and maybe start from with violence, and that was scary. And luckily, I had to change the house in that period. I also was involved in the ledger leak. So I already passed through it a bit. I was a bit unlucky. I mean, if you survive the early days of Bitcoin, many things happen to you. But anyway, but that was tougher, definitely tougher, because there were a group of people who I met them in person. And I didn't hook up, and then I thought like that. I was convinced and scared at the same time. For 6 months, I tried to find a solution. How can I solve this problem? Luckily, after 6, 7 months, I read an article saying that that particular wallet in that period they met them had a bug, even on the iPhone. So it's a wallet is not open source. That was my mistake. But I didn't. I mean, we all look at iPhone like a perfection, so at least not. There are bugs also in the iPhone wallet, and so the trick was clear to me. They wanted me to deposit the fund in this iPhone wallet and to drain it because of the bug. And that then I cooled down. I had some relief. I wasn't scared about my life anymore. And I started to think, deep breath. I started to think how to try to make this not happen for anyone anymore. I mean, with the Bitcoin is a better asset, and I mean that's beautiful, but also dangerous at the same time. And nobody else would feel safe walking around with 2 bars of gold, 2 bullets. Everybody is at risk. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. I mean, it's actually the same thing. And after first research, I thought, okay, found out this solution by putting together a multi-sig with a time delay, like the bank vault and the secret notification, which I just realized that it adheres to the Kershaw's principle, which is non-obscurity. You need a system which is non-obscure on top of the cryptography of Bitcoin. Because if you only rely on the cryptography of Bitcoins, you are a walking target. I mean, the private keys are perfect executor, but you no, you can be attacked, and
Hmm.
your device, if you make a mistake, it can be hacked because they are too good. The code has a bug, or they just lure you into phishing, etc. So you make mistakes. All of these are big risks, and in the normal banking world or whatever, they always have a time at the vault where nobody can attack the branch or the bank because they cannot take out the funds from the employee. So they don't. They, as a result, they don't even try. And I wanted to replicate this system into certificate, which is the beginning difficult because I mean you own the private keys and you wanted to create a friction which makes it that spendable and until the time-based the spending condition is met. So at that period, I moved here in Lugano, and during a Satoshi Spritz, I had the chance to talk. Here, they are the best developers in Europe. They live here in Lugano because it's the Bitcoin city capital of Europe, in Lugano, in Europe. And I met this person, was the high skilled developer, and uh, came out with my idea. And after social splits, we stayed for 2, 3 hours there, thinking together and how to deploy this solution into the non-custodial framework of wallets. Then I eventually did the things clicked, and we found out there was a way. So we started building it and started to see if there is a market for that, if people really need it, because at the beginning I wasn't exactly convinced because I thought that if it's just for physical attack, well, there are just a few ways. It's not too good for the market. But then I realized that, wait, the hacks are the biggest threat out there. Everybody's losing money because they got victim of phishing or other kind of even stupid hacks. But people, I mean, we have been all newbies, so things that can happen, and that's where people need the protection. Yes, for sure, it solves the problem of the physical attacks, but when somebody attacks you, it's because he knows you are a whale and but more importantly, it helps the average holder, person holding 0.1, 0.2 Bitcoin in the US, and that helps him not to fall victim of his own mistakes, mainly because that's how people lose their Bitcoin. And that works perfectly, and is a combination, as I said, of multi-sig, 2 or 3. On the time delay is enforced by convenience service, which is trusted as open source. The convenience service enforces this additional spending condition and doesn't have to be trusted because if the convenience service doesn't comply for some reason, after time delay expires, the transaction gets broadcasted anyway.
Right.
And before this, there is the possibility for the user to activate an optional convenient, an optional serial notification, which allows the user to actually notify a trusted person that the wife, for instance, that somebody is happening with these funds. So this is to prevent kidnappings because in that way, the wife hopefully will look for the husband, and that can change everything. The only thing you cannot, so we are talking. I also a podcast like you, sort of Bitcoin, interview many people about the abstract economics and things. So Bitcoin is valuable because it's scarce. It's scarce because it's based on the times lack of time for the proof of work. So time is the base of Austrian economics is the scarcest asset. We have time. But here, time also delivers you the best security.
Mhm.
Nobody can hack time. Nobody can. uh, hijack times in any way. I mean, is your shield. Time is your shield. Is your protection. Everything against physical attackers. So this is a cheat code for the wallet. We are a B2B to C solution. We want, of course, to will be out in October. People utilize our wallet, but also we want to offer opportunity to other businesses, other wallets, to integrate our solution as a SDK Trust, as, which can be integrated in universally in all of the other wallets. And this will be a game changer because at the end of the day, think about it, when this BitVault becomes the industry standard, then nobody will even attempt the heist. Why would somebody will try to extort with violence one Bitcoin risking to go to jail for the rest of your life if there is, he knows in advance there is nothing he can do. I mean, this, I hope I answered. Sorry if I talk too much, but really passionate.
I can tell the
Mm.
passion. I can feel it coming across the world through the virtual screen here. A couple really interesting things you mentioned, and let me also just sort of give you back what I understood about your personal story. So, uh, you you downloaded some type of wallet and you had a sense that it had some type of backdoor, even though you got it from the App Store, where everybody thinks, hey, if Apple verified it's safe and secure, then it must be. And you had a hunch that they were trying to drain your wallet. How did you initially get sort of hooked into this potential scam?
Yeah, because somebody contacted me saying that they it was interested to fund my company. Is coming
Oh,
from
that's right.
Dubai, from Dubai. Let's meet in Rome. And I asked him, why don't we meet in Milan? I live in the north. No, no, I say the Rome is better for us. Okay, so and then when went there, these people presented themselves like. Pretty young, 25, 30 years old, 30 people, years old people, they found themselves, they present themselves like, introduced themselves like they were reseller of diamonds, things which makes reseller of diamond dealing with Bitcoin is a bit strange. Then
Mm,
by saying that they were showing off like they were well dressed, but me, I'm Italian, I know how to dress well, and I can guarantee you that those the attire was really cheap, and
mm,
instead of the diamond ring, they had a tin ring. So that made me. I am good observer, so it is a scam. But then
yeah.
yeah, I didn't go there on my own. I went there with the private armored guard I hired before. I'm not stupid. I knew in the beginning it was a scam, but because I had some people that invested in this business, I want to bring forward the mining. So I had a bit of duty to go there to see what happens. Of course, a public place, a camera, was a restaurant. So, and these people was behind me with a gun. But then, luckily, nothing happened. But it really was difficult to spot because if you don't have that eye to understand and you trust the iPhone wallet, almost perfect scam. They could have sucked at me, but luckily they didn't happen. But then I thought how many people would be affected by it, and so I needed to find a solution. I really, but that disturbed me because I mean I thought that they would have attacked me physically, and then that was because I didn't know about the bug. I couldn't imagine. Have imagined. And here to the listeners, the mistake: never use a closed source wallet. That
Mm.
was the mistake. Never use a closed. If I had the thought in that moment that the wallet was deemed like not secure because it wasn't open source, I could have understood more and better and quicker. But the iPhone, unfortunately, we are humans. The brands have an effect on you, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting. You made a couple other. One of the things that really stood out to me that you said was that Bitcoin is a responsibility, or when you take self custody, you're taking on, you're freeing yourself from one problem, which is trusting a third party with your life savings, but you're taking on other problems. So my understanding is that time, the ability to time lock Bitcoin, it almost seems to solve multiple major problems with self custody, right? It doesn't just solve the wrench attack, it solves the hacking problem. Also, you can get notifications. That's huge. If look, if you're on Sparrow wallet or, you know, any wallet, right? You don't get a notification when your Bitcoin moves. You got to go check it. And what are you going to be checking your Bitcoin stack in cold storage all the time? So that I find that really interesting. Gives people the peace of mind. I'm curious, just how like what your emotional experience was like going through. You decided to go meet these people in person. Sounds like an Italian mafia style meetup. Like in my head, I'm imagining, you know, a bunch of people around a table and you're sitting there kind of scoping things out. Well, just talk to me a little bit about like, were you fearful of your life during that time, or just what was that emotional experience like?
Look, I worked in the military for 12 years. Participated in operation, was a medical officer. So I've done worse things. And but yeah, I mean, not stupid. I understood that it was a scam, but then to find out how, why. So the public place was the first condition. Don't meet anybody if there isn't a camera in a public place. That's even if you have to buy some Bitcoin without KYC,
Hmm.
cash in hand, just don't go in closed places. Just stupid, don't do it. If he is good and wants to sell, he will agree to meet you in a public place. Otherwise, it's a scam. Then I didn't want uh, to fall victim of this person physically. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna spend $100 just to have a private guard, and is money well spent because I don't want to risk my life here. So the combination of these two things put me in a position of security because I mean I was guarded and I was also in a public place. So everything, nothing could have happened there. But yeah, I mean, if these people keep chasing you or whatever, that will be a problem in the future. So that was started to worry a bit, but luckily we changed the house, as I say, also country. So because I live in Switzerland now, and that was a problem, but otherwise it would have been. Yeah,
Wow.
the problem is that you can be scared if some thinking that you will be attacked. No? So that affects you, no? Yeah.
Definitely, and it's a
Mm,
conversation that I hear a
mhm.
lot of Bitcoiners having is, you know, how do you solve the $5 wrench problem specifically? I think there's a lot of focus on that. I find it interesting that from your perspective being, you know, a little bit closer to this, that the hacking and phishing is actually a bigger problem or more common attack vector, if you will. How are the attack vectors changing? Like, what are the considerations that, you know, we should be thinking as Bitcoin price runs up? How are things going to change?
I think they're gonna escalate dramatically with the AI. I mean, with the AI, the quantity and quality of scams will skyrocket. Sometimes when I have to have a call with some people, with investments, these things, sometimes I think, what if there is an avatar, it's an AI generated individual, and I've seen some videos so he can pretty well respond and be look natural, and just 2 years after GPT, what is going to happen in 5 years from now? What kind of quality are we going to have? That's something. I remember. Do you remember the Sailor video you watched? There was running one year ago on YouTube with
Yeah.
him with the QR code. That looks his voice. Look
Yeah.
at the like and so this is I mean the digital now the world is digital. The acts are digital. The scams are, of course, the acts are digital, but the scams are digital. So, and the majority of people interact with this digital world without that much background of a background. And that's dangerous for them. So you really want to give them the opportunity. So to tell them that, okay, this is your holdings, you can move it, you set your time, you set 1 week if you have a lot of money. If you have not too much, you set 6 hours, 8 hours, time delay. And then there is the transaction has two moments. One is when it get loaded, and second broadcasted. So the
Hmm.
C notification gets triggered here when it gets loaded. So as soon as the transaction gets loaded, it's still yours, still in your possession, but you get somebody close to you gets or you gets notified. that there is a process going on. So you can have a look. You can abort the transaction. You can save your funds. But if you have a lot of money on Sparrow, all other very good wallets, it's my favorite. But in other wallets, you don't have any notification. You just see your money gone in three confirmation, and there's nothing you can do. Uh, so also from the quality as a money, what is Bitcoin for now is a store of value in the West. So Bitcoin in the West is used for privacy payments or as a store of value. Then in the African countries, it's a medium exchange because they need it, it is the need. But at the moment, the market cap is not that big to justify a medium exchange use case. It will be, but not at the moment. And so you want to protect your digital gold 100%. It's the most precious thing you have. There is a margin of appreciation is huge, and you have to do everything to protect your Bitcoin. And absolutely, we are here for. I remember the site is bitvault.sv. So please, if you can leave your email there, you will get access for free to the beta in October. So don't miss out.
So say that again. So if someone puts their email in bitvault.sv, what do they get access to?
To the beta, it's for free, freshly coded and released in October. And then I anticipate that there will be huge discounts if they are beta tester for the lifetime subscription. So you
Beautiful.
want to be a beta tester, 100%.
Yeah, I want to be a beta tester for sure. So what I have a couple questions just specifically around self-custody and Bitcoin. Then I want to talk about the business and how you're building it, and some of the challenges and processes, strategies. But what are the considerations for the duration of time that you want to have a time lock? You mentioned if you have a smaller stack, maybe you have a shorter duration. Is that as simple as that? And more time gives you more flexibility, but maybe a little bit less convenience? Or what are the considerations, trade-offs?
Yeah, I mean, this is a personal, the amount of fear and the amount of holdings you have to protect, the amount of fear you have is a personal matter. I mean, we cannot instruct anyone to do a certain, so it's up to you. We think we don't allow more than 2 weeks time delay because we don't think that holding somebody in captivity for more than 2 weeks is feasible without nobody noticing it and either alerting authorities and or going to look for you in some way. So doesn't really help. It also helps reverse if somebody from your family gets, let's say, kidnapped and they want a ransom for you. Works the same way. So time is your defense there because if it blocks they want to push you, no, to act quickly, no, to move the funds quickly. So with that, they know it's not possible in advance. They are going to go to attempt the kidnapping. And then, of course, but we know that if somebody has small money, wanted to spend in the afternoon, in the following day. And doesn't make sense if you have a small money to have a 2 weeks delay because it's not life funds. But for life funds, you want to put 2 weeks delay. I mean, if you want to purchase a villa, if you someday you have the wrong idea of selling your Bitcoin to buy a villa, you just for the simple paperwork, you need to wait to think 2 weeks in advance. So some users asked us about like 100-year time delay and for inheritance purposes, but we don't think that's wise because needs in life change. What if you divorce or something else? So we wanted to just do what is useful to protect against the attacks and the acts which we have identified in 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, but if you have a special request, we'll try. We see, we have polls. I mean, this is a starting point. Anyway. This is
Hmm.
just a starting point. Yeah.
Beautiful. Time is a shield. Time is your shield. That's what you said. I really, really like that line. There's something about tactical patience. You know, you want to you want to move those funds. You want to make the move, buy the villa. Slow down, be patient. It's going to be all right. Um, I, I, so my understanding is that, and tell me if I'm wrong, time locking Bitcoin is something that is a functionality in the actual Bitcoin core code. Is that true? And then you guys took that functionality and built it into a user friendly interface that someone like myself without technical skills could leverage that software technology. Is that correct? Or that
Yes,
functionality?
it is correct. The opcode, there is a CSV opcode which can the node can agree and they can make the transfer possible. No, so it's enforced at the blockchain level. I mean, that's secure. But then the big question mark is what is how to have this time delay enforced in a wallet in a trustless way. That's
That's
what
yeah,
we.
that's really interesting. Yeah, because you said you have a third party that helps enforce that, or how does that work?
No, no, it's not third
No.
party. It's still part of the wallet. It's called convenience service. I mean, it looks, sounds like third party, but it's not. It's what they already, other wallets they already utilize, like the Green Wallet, the Blockstream wallet as a convenience service. No? But it's not open source, not trustless, and has nothing to do to enforce the time delay. We utilize that utilize just to cosign, to etc. But we have a convenience service which as an instruction as a to enforce a time delay. So it is a additional spending condition, a filter, a gatekeeper
Mm,
to avoid any UTXO to be spent if that condition is not met. And here is a problem. If the convenience service closes source, it's like not having it because you cannot trust.
mm,
But if you open source it, everybody can see it, that that condition is how it runs in the code, gets executed, and is the same thing as having a guardian at your service because you set the rules and it just obeys. But if it goes rogue, the transaction still moves. So there were two conditions to be solved, two problems to be solved. One is that it has to be trustworthy, it has to be open source, and it had also to be trustless. I mean that if for some reason that doesn't work, it doesn't impact the usability and the safety of the objects. So we made it. We have the function. We are our developer currently right now building it 8 hours per day, and in 3 months we'll be ready. So we're pretty happy with the result. This is a game changer for Bitcoin. It's something which while we were building all of the team, we were convinced that this is something we personally are going to use. That's how we built a wallet. I built a wallet, me and my colleagues, like something, thinking about something which I'm gonna use 100%. I didn't build a wallet to sell to other people. I built a wallet primarily to be comfortable to use it myself. That's a message. So it should be secure, right? Because if
yeah,
you use it in the first place, yeah.
open source, trustless. Yeah, you wouldn't want to build something that you yourself can't trust. That would not make
Yes.
a lot of sense. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate solving a problem that you had, right, and anticipating that as the next hundreds of millions of people come into Bitcoin, that they're going to face a very similar problem. I'm curious just how you're thinking about the business. I watched your pitch at BTC Prague, which I thought you did
Mhm.
a fantastic job, man. I can imagine that was a pretty nerve-wracking environment. And then answering questions afterwards, thought you did a great job there. But yeah, talk to me about the progress since then. So, how has it been received? What are some of the milestones? Or you mentioned 3 months till launch, but just talk to me a little bit about things behind the scenes.
Yes. So after this, so wallet project started. They completed in November 2023. Then talked with co-founder there. Then in December we validated the idea. I started to set up the company in December 2023. Company was set up in January 2024, but then we had to understand that before there was a exploratory phase where before building it, before committing, spending energy, resources, and money and work, that if somebody would actually use it, like it, and use it. So I started the preliminary phase on Twitter. Basically, started with before with a circle of friends to ask them, do you think it's a good idea? Do you think there is a need? Blah blah blah. And then we start to have a good response. Then but then they still are their friends. There is a book which is very good. It's called the Mom Test. The Mom Test is a marketing book telling you that people you know, of course, they're going to say that is good. They're going to use it, but that is not an indication of. So before committing somebody else's energy, I wanted to make sure, and then we started to promote the wallet before building it to see if there is a lead variation. Well, I can tell you that in the span of 7, 8 months, we have mastered like 200 beta tester. Then this grew to 300, and now 350 beta testers today right now. The letter of intent with other businesses, other wallets that started arriving. We tested both the B2C and the B2B before starting to produce it. It was all amazing. I mean, I didn't spend €1 in marketing by choice. I wanted to actually understand if there was value behind it. And I we have like 900 followers on X with zero marketing. I mean, I just organically, people need it. They are messaging me like when it's going to come out. We need this wallet, and it's amazing because I can experience and feel that there is a real people are waiting. People need this product, and there's nothing we can do. Uh, I talked also to other wallets during Bitcoin Prague. I talked to the Liana founder. I remember very Kevin, a very good guy. I'm gonna meet him in a Bitcoin Barcelona conference next month, where we are gonna speak me and him in a panel about advanced Bitcoin wallets together with a Spanish guy who made the win. And I told him that they use also time locks. Liana, they had a very good idea, but they use it just for the keys recovery, for an easy recovery of the keys. It's pretty good. So when I met him again in Lugano in October, last October, I told him, "Look, your wallet is the best to recover the keys. Our wallet is the best to prevent theft. I think if we put it together, you have the best. So I hope it's going to integrate us. I don't know, but hopefully, as you can see, time is pretty useful for both the scopes, and that was pretty much it. How it went. Now I'm talking with a different kind of people. We have a pipeline of venture capitalists. To talk to after the product, it's an attraction for we're gonna have a seed round, $1 million next year. So things are pretty smooth, pretty. It's just a matter of finding the right pricing. That's also another hot point. But I'm sure in the first months there will be no problem because we're going to offer lifetime deals and we're going to offer extensive, big discounts for the first 3 months at least. And we want to keep a price which everybody can afford, even small orders. For some people, they might not lose small orders life funds, but they can lose 1 year of their work, 6 months of their work. That still sucks. We don't want anything to happen. We want to beat the attackers and the hackers completely. There should be no room for anybody to lose it even one cent, not even 1 cent to anyone. That's my goal. The price will reflect that, 100%.
I love that, man. I love the mission. And yeah, I mean, if this does become the standard, something you said earlier, which I think is notable, is that a hacker or an attacker will not they'll say, hey, chances are 50% of wallets have this, time lock functionality. It's just not worth us going after them. Let's go after the people that keep their coins on Coinbase or the lower hanging fruit. So there's something to be said. It's almost like the concept of herd immunity. Like, I'm not a big fan of jabs, but like you can get a jab and protect yourself in theory. But if all of society is protected against a virus, that's a much better security than everybody needing to go do their own thing. And I also
Yeah,
appreciate the pricing structure too, like being conscious of consumers. Bitcoiners, people from the outside might think they have all this money, but they're not stingy necessarily, but they're very conscious of how they spend their money. So I think Bitcoiners are going to think, hey, look at this company. They're offering us this service at the lowest price that they can do while still making profit. I'm going to go there versus a Casa or I guess the question is, who are your competitors and how do you think about differentiating yourself from them?
Yes, I mean, it's always wrong to say you don't have competitors, because if you talk to investors who don't have competitors, say, oh, this guy is great. Um, we have competitors to the extent of people, of the user, not understanding the problem. Because if people understand the problem, they can see that we are the first one to bring a solution to the market. So let's say, given the problem, there is no competition, but there is a competition if people, for those people who don't understand the problem. So the competition stays in our part, is also part of our mission to educate the user to the problem. Because sometimes in tech, when you find a solution to something which wasn't was thought like as impossible, a lot impossible to solve it before, people forget the problem, forget there is a problem. So we have to bring back to them in a gentle way the fact that there is a problem. Actually, they are at risk. I mean, me and you, all the Bitcoin now, we are at risk, and find out, show like there is a solution. If we paraphrase that, it's like the orange pill is somebody who owns fiat currency, thinks euro dollar is the best, showing him that there is a problem with the money printing and the Bitcoin solution. The same way we are gonna hopefully try to educate people that there is a problem, and here is the solution. So should be consequential, not to leave a room for fears to grow in their minds, but it's something which we have to do very quickly in terms of education, and very effectively as well. Also, to circle back what you were saying before, I think that this solution, as you said, they will go to the people who have the Coinbase account to try to hack their 2FA, and that will show if this solution, thanks to the BitVault, the non-custodial, highlights itself as the most secure. It will also be utterly beneficial for the non-custodial solutions in general, because uh, people will not be able to get hacked or attacked with no custodian anymore, but they will be able to get attacked on Coinbase. So hopefully, people, they will just keep moving their coins out of Coinbase or other exchanges. And to this regard, we also thought about our role in the exchanges. And then I thought, look, the exchanges, we also have one letter of intent with a minor exchange.
Hmm.
The problem with exchange is that they sell the coins, and smart people just withdraw their coins, so it's correct. But then the role of the exchanges ends there. And some people might lose the Bitcoin because they don't have BitVault. They have another wallet where they get phished or attacked. So the exchange, if the exchange gives them access to the vault, to the wallet, BitVault already, where the user holds his own keys, so the exchange, there's nothing to do, it's non-custodial. But the exchange act as a convenience service holder, where he can timestamp the transaction. It can be actually useful for the user, because he can give him access to a non-custodial secure wallet solution, and they can also contribute to manage the convenience service, just to timestamp the transaction, given that even if this exchange goes rogue, the convenience service goes rogue, the user still holds all the fund and can move it freely, because the convenience service is trustless. So
Hmm.
that's the value. For the first time in history of Bitcoin, the exchange can be utterly actually useful for the user. They can educate the user, make him transfer his funds, and give a service which is the time delay, and that will be also a game changer for the exchange, hopefully. So yeah.
So you start by B2C, people that are somewhat technically savvy or at least understand the problem. Then you go B2B. And then you said through education, you circle back and you build out the B2C again. So it's an interesting strategy, B to C to B. And I hadn't thought about how an exchange could offer an additional service to their clients, right? Um, how big is the opportunity? If I'm an investor, sometimes I like doing this, ask, hey, I'm
Mhm.
going to put the investor hat on. If I'm an investor, how big is the opportunity B2B versus B2C?
In, look, if you're investor, I talk you as you are investor. So I can tell you what I didn't tell to the other audience. We have a patent in the US. Okay. So the investors, I mean, I don't care. I just filed it for the investors to raise capital, the seed round. But the investor want a patent. They want a protected technology, which, I mean, the wallet will be open source with Apache 2.0, but at least for the process side, you are protected. But nobody cares about enforcing it. I hope not many investors will listen to us. But nobody, because the open source is a sacred matter. So it should be open source. That should be protected for the investor. Then uh, this means that you can, by having in the investor mind this friction of the patent, you can retain the first mover advantage for a longer time. And
Mhm.
the first mover advantage for a startup, it's all that matters. That's the only thing. I mean, Apple is producing the same phone, has been producing the same phone for the last 8 years, and the stock is up and people are buying it. And I also changed it too, but there is no reason to do that because it's the same phone. So that shows that the first mover advantage then consolidates the player. So if you were an investor, I would tell you just bet on us because we have the first mover advantage, secured by, enforced by a patent which is strategically used uh, as a deterrent, as a way to tell to the world that we have invented this. But I don't think that you can be a successful company if nobody copies you. They say if nobody copies you, it means you are not worth a penny. So
Mm.
we expect somebody maybe trying, or it's not a matter of copying, but to starting an innovation. Maybe in the future there will be different ways to solve the same problem. Because we are at a stage now, we are so early in Bitcoin that people thought and that there wasn't the solution to the problem, and they also forgot as a consequence that there was a problem in the first place. So now we bring a problem, we unveil the problem again, and we show the world there is the problem. We have solved it this way, but tomorrow somebody can try not to make a copycat, to emulate the solution to our problems and done in a different way. So that's beneficial for the industry. Try to copy us in the future. It's not a problem. I like the first mover advantage. I feel confident for the investors that this is all that matters. But I also happy to see other players to bring about other solution which will benefit the user 100%. This is fair market
Beautiful.
competition is upbuilding.
Yeah, it's a great answer. I started a supplement company and we had a very similar issue. We wanted to create a supplement with transparent sourcing so we could tell you exactly which ingredients, how much, and down to the farm level where they're from. And when we pitched it to investors, they would say, guys, someone's just going to copy you tomorrow, and some bigger company is just going to take your transparent, honest work and just say, hey, look, the market is valuing transparency. Let's capture that. The answer that we would give to them is slightly different than yours, but I'm curious what you would say around branding and marketing. How do you approach in a space like Bitcoin where word travels fast, either good or bad? If you are an honest and transparent, it takes time to build that trust with the community. But how are you guys approaching that? How are you thinking about marketing? Obviously, to date, you haven't spent money, and that's incredible. The fact that you have 900 followers, people reaching out to you, that is a huge signal to the success of your business. And then the other thing you said, which is very true, is that if you're the only one offering the service, it's probably because there's not a market for it. It's not because you're such a genius that you came up with something. So I do appreciate the fact that you're aware that there will be copycats and you're thinking about, how do we build our business to take advantage of this first mover advantage. But in terms of branding and marketing, any initial thoughts, or have you guys not really gotten to that stage yet?
No, we have started to have some marketing, branding. building of it. And there, I'm not an expert to say. I have my podcast where I interact a bit in the space. Um, but it really changed everything. The fact when I had my CMO, is the founder of BitcoinNews.com. His name is
Oh,
Leon.
Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh, I
know.
didn't know he worked with you guys. Okay, amazing.
Okay, okay. Yes. So,
Shout out Lee.
yes, all the experience. I mean, bitcoinnews.com is a great site, is the trusted source of information. So, he also started now lightningnews.com. So, he has a lot of experience in the Bitcoin space. And I really wanted somebody to be specific about this environment. I don't need branding companies like venture, like studios. No, this thing. Could be good for our normal IT company, but we need somebody who is a Bitcoiner itself to drive the market. And he shocked me when our first conference in Salvador came out with a roll up with the La Dodger Michael Saylor image, which is free to be used because La Dodger said that you can use it as you want
Oh
because
wow.
it's not is a picture of him, it's a refiguration, is a painting, it's like art. And so then he put that a slogan which was really compelling for our use case with the image of Michael Saylor climbing the mountains with the mountains with but to symbolize the effort you make to pile up to stack your Bitcoin. So you are all sweat there at the heights of the mountain with your Bitcoin, and then the claim was don't lose it to chance, don't
Uh,
leave it to chance. Don't, so imagine like Miles Zero with the mountains, you all sweat there, and then don't leave it to chance. No, that's a genius. So he
I
compared
love it.
me with that, with that, and then now he's working hard also in the market. Now we are about to launch in October, so there will be a lot to work to do, but he has all the skills. And I understood in startup world, you got to have the right person. You cannot do everything. You go nuts if you want to do everything. It's not advisable. The founder should be able to understand everything. In the beginning, you are alone. You have to do everything. But then we have to scale. You need to delegate. You need the right people. We are able to work independently and get the best results. And I think we have all of this team. Our CTO is Hunter Trujillo. He's the creator of BIP 360, quantum resistant. So if Bitcoin will be quantum resistant in the future, it's thanks to him. He's pretty skilled. I mean, the result speak for itself. Um, and we have some other secret developers but they are really high level. They work for other companies. I cannot tell their name, but um, the solution didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of people who are skilled or even more skilled than the people I named to you right now.
Got it.
So one day the public will know, but so there is a bit of mystery there. So, but at the moment, let's enjoy the solution. Let's enjoy the peace of mind which such a wallet can give to the people who can finally own something without the risk of being attacked or losing it. Uh, that's a remarkable one.
Yeah, I'm reflecting on a conversation I had the other day. A friend of mine, new to Bitcoin, reaching out to me, "Hey, what cold wallet should I get?" He has a little XRP. He told me, so he's like, "I want one that has XRP." I told him, "Keep the XRP on the exchange. Let's get you a Bitcoin only hardware wallet. You can sell the XRP." But it's a as a friend of his, I'm very concerned that, hey, if I say, dude, go grab a cold wallet and figure it out, he may make a mistake that, I'm not going to, it's not my fault. Obviously, everyone's responsible for their own actions, but I do feel some level of responsibility for if you do bring someone into Bitcoin, how do you do it in a responsible way? So I'm not just to toot your horn. I really, and I need to do more thinking on this and process a little bit more, but I really do think that your product, although you're going for more experienced Bitcoiners at the beginning, I think it's really for the people that are maybe a little bit less comfortable holding their own keys, like setting up their own multi-sig completely on their own. Um, so I mean, that's just a little side note that I had there. But in terms of where you see this thing going, what does the future look like? Does how does self custody evolve over time? Are people going to maybe comment on some of the different options, like even taking a step back? You don't even need to do self custody these days. You can do multi institution custody or some of these different things. But do you think that I guess the question is this: do you think that this specific technology and functionality undermines some of these other avenues, or not undermines, but just how do you see a new functionality like this amplifying self custody's functionality instead of people turning away from self custody, going to multi institution? Does that make sense to you? Is this something that almost changes the trajectory of self custody adoption? It's a
think that
terribly long, all over the
no,
place
no, no,
question.
no, no. You understood what I want to say. I mean, you had a good analysis before. I mean, the average. First of all, I thank you because it's very helpful for us to understand, to have a feedback, such a feedback that ordinary people will benefit. With what the reason why we go to wanted to have the green light from experience in the wheeler is just for the marketing progress of the business, but we want everybody to benefit from it. And the fact that somebody can own his own funds, starting off in Bitcoin with not too much knowledge, and we take away from him the weight of the risk of feeling the risk of physically attacked or hacked, that gives him gives room to him to study more, to educate, to feel more confident with self-custody. Say, hey, I couldn't know much about it, but I feel safe. So this thing, what does it mean? That he can allocate more funds. He can overcome the fear and study more because it has a positive impact on his brain, and that removes all the toxic environment of fear-based decision where somebody would want to buy more, would want to study more, to engage more into even more complicated self-custody setups by studying more. But he's scared because he just started, right? He could lose it all. He doesn't know what you're doing. But wait a minute. You set it up, this wallet, the right way. You cannot be attacked. You cannot be hacked. Even if you insert your seed weight, somebody's going to alert you. The transaction doesn't start until time has passed. There is a safety net. There is a system above you which protects you. So this is the key, a system above you which protects you, so you can feel safe. And I think it will change self-custody in this way by leaving more room for the user for mistakes, because even if that happens, it will not be doomed by it. And that's what people want. They want to make mistakes somehow and not to be affected for life. So it will enhance self-cast. That's for sure in this way. Thanks for the question, by the way. I never thought about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
I love self custody, and I hear a lot of people talking about how it's going to go away. Self custody is going to go away, and people are just going to have paper Bitcoin, and that's just not the world I want to live in. I mean, if you want to do that, great, but I'm gonna. That's the hill I will die on, is protecting the right to self custody. I mean, it's not even a right; it's just something everyone should be able to do. Um, how has Bitcoin changed your life personally? Can you comment a little bit on? I'm just very curious, just how Bitcoin changes you, not just obviously your finances being growing over time, but you as a person. Have you picked up new hobbies? Have you changed your health habits, relationships, how you see the world, anything like that?
yes. It changes my life because I graduated from scientific high school. So I did some kind of coding, it's basic language like Pascal or basic, very basic. When I was 18 years old. But then I didn't want to become an engineer. Then I moved into medicine. So I became a doctor, and but still I had the background scientific, and I was in love with computers. When I was my first computer was brought to me by my father when I was 12 years old. It was a 16 megahertz computer, and it was it costed a lot of money back then. So I had the chance to start to utilize the DOS program, all of this stuff, and understand how it works, the machine, something which we don't have much chance today to do because everything is compacted before the computer were different. And then I didn't study IT sciences, but I had the chance, thanks to Bitcoin, now to get back in that world. I enjoyed it. I was in line partially to some extent with my life. Because doing two things in your life, you have more fun. Life is better because if you do always the same thing, it will be boring in the end. It's not the case for amazing because it's also science is a fantastic word, but the having a variation of it with the IT is at the value. And I also noticed that. The quality of the connection you make in the Bitcoin space with like-minded individual, that's the added value. I remember in the beginning, I was scared to go to Bitcoin meetups in 2017 because I thought I have to buy and sell Bitcoin. I thought I had to meet some weird, people who could do something wrong, harmful to me. And but then after a few years, I overcame this fear and I started to engage with the Bitcoiners, and I found that people who love freedom, people were a bit secluded by the society because society, as we all know, doesn't love freedom. So they had all of them an independent mind, which it resonated with me, and came up with the conclusion. That people you don't hold the Bitcoin by chance. You hold Bitcoin if you're ready to it. So that's where the network effect is being built and brought in the Bitcoin space. You're that really sure that personal. If you're a scammer, I always say you don't like Bitcoin. So there is like a bit of stamp of quality, and that can drive you some way in your life to take some risks more with people. Now, after 7 years, when I talk to a Bitcoiner, my guards are a bit off now if I know that he's a Bitcoiner because if it means he understands freedom, he likes freedom, he's a good person, he didn't want to scam other people with shitcoins and stuff. He doesn't like banking, so this is a other value. I mean, this is huge, and that drives you in a better direction. Also, in your day-to-day life, you don't waste time by trying to vet people before interacting with them. You can straight away interact with them. 90% of the time, there will not be many problems with true Bitcoiner. It's it's a new class of individuals that I would say to your listening. We are a new class of individuals. That's also a responsibility, but the great teaching of Bitcoin helps you in all of that in your life, 100% in your choices, because everything is driven by freedom, and that's the most important thing in life.
I think it's very articulated very well, and I can agree and also validate your claim because, in my experience, yeah, I want to be around people that share values, and freedom is at the top of that list. So, Bitcoiners, yeah, definitely, you share so much in common. There's science, I don't remember the exact data, but if you have something in common with someone, you actually get a dopamine release in your brain, so you feel good, or maybe it's oxytocin, something. We're literally wired to be around people that share values. Did that say recording stopped? No, we're fine. I'll wrap us up here in a sec. It's still recording. Do you remember your first Lightning transaction?
Uh, no, Sorry, not that real. But yeah,
I've
let's
asked
go.
like three people on the podcast. No one remembers their first light. Do you
No.
remember, or what's something cool that you've bought with Lightning?
Ah, yeah, but I bought a T-shirt of the Lugano Plan B, the first edition, where the mayor just announced that the municipality would support the Bitcoin in Europe was huge. So I purchased a T-shirt, like 15 francs, something like that. I paid with Lightning. That I remember the transaction. Yeah, it marked in
Epic.
Europe a good step. Yeah.
I've heard amazing things about Lugano. I've never been there, but I would love to visit. I'm going to be in Bulgaria and Prague. Will you be at the Prague conference?
I was last year, but this year they don't do the startup contest, so
Okay.
I will not go. And I have another conference in Barcelona and another one in Brescia and Viareggio next week. I will be there for the Lightning Tuscany Summit, so pretty busy this month. But yeah,
Great,
when you
man.
pass by, you have my contact. I mean, Lugano, there is an hub is provided by Tether where there are all the Bitcoiners building. Also, Freedom Tech. There is a kit. There is all of the many Bitcoin companies there. So you wanna have a visit, just hit me up and I guide you.
Thank you, sir. I open door policy here in Seattle. If you ever make it over here, hit me up,
Okay.
please. So, if you could leave someone like myself, someone who wants to build on Bitcoin with one message, what would you tell them?
Um, just think that build something if you experience a problem. Building something is a huge commitment for your life. Lots of time, nights, days, nights. You do it just not to build a company. You don't have that founder who looks for a problem. You have to identify the problem, see if something is really needed to validate it. Then after you're really sure, maybe not your friends are telling you, but people who don't know you are telling you that they need it and they ask you for a solution. Then you are onto something big. Then you have to build a solution to help people. So the core, the end goal of the business of the startup is to help people. I mean, do something which is useful, not to make money. If you want to make money, you will live a better life just doing your normal job and accumulating Bitcoin. To do you will live a more relaxed life because the life of a founder is not easy, and so you will do better to yourself just by doing that. Don't force yourself to be a founder to be something which doesn't make sense. The world is full of things that don't make sense and don't look for a problem. Just if you can find a solution, naturally go for it and prove it. And that's all I have to say.
Francesco, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you, follow you, stay in touch, and also get on that list?
Yeah. I will head over to bitvault.sv and follow us on X. We give updates, and you will see there my retweets and posts. There will be Francesco Madonna on X. You will find me there as well. Um just download, not download, but leave the email on the site, and you will be able to download the app very soon.
And right after you're done with that, hit that like and subscribe button if you're not subscribed. We are Satoshi Podcast on YouTube. Everyone who's made it this far, really appreciate you guys listening. I get to the blessing to talk with awesome founders and builders like Francesco today. And I'm definitely learned a lot from you, man. So thank you. And till next time, we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.